Nike under fire. The company pulling its 4th of July sneakers depicting Betsy Ross's iconic Revolutionary War era American flag, 13 stars, after former NFL star Colin Kaepernick intervened, saying the design was offensive. The company already facing backlash. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey announcing he's withdrawing incentives for Nike building a manufacturing plant in the state. Joining me now, Big Eyed Wish founder, creative director, Ian Wishingrad. Ian, good to see you.
Good to see you.
What do you make of this, just out of the gate?
They're worth over $100 billion. They bet on Colin before. If he finds it offensive, he's kind of become a voice of a certain issue, and I think it was the right thing to pull it.
You don't think there's going to be any fallout? Again, I found it comical when they ran the Colin Kaepernick ad campaign, people burning their Nike shoes, which they had already paid for. So Nike didn't care, quite frankly. Nike had already collected that revenue. But that being said, is this a step too far, potentially?
No, not remotely. I mean, I think it's not for us to judge this. If those 13 stars represent a time in America where it, for him, reflects slavery, you're not in the business of offending people. And especially African-American culture is a huge part of Nike's success. And so the last thing you want to do is offend people. You're trying to be a brand. Nike's extremely popular, as I said, worth over $100 billion. This is an unnecessary step for them. You know, it's different when H&M did the coolest monkey in the jungle, or Zara had like a star from the Holocaust. Those things are crazy. This one, I think they weren't trying to offend anyone. They were just trying to do some cool throwback and didn't realize it offended someone. And then he says, hey, this bothers me. Get rid of it. It's not worth it.
Does Colin Kaepernick speak for the black community in this country?
For a certain portion of it, I think he does. You know, I say this all the time. I don't agree with everything Colin Kaepernick does and the way he does it, but I agree with him on this one. I think this was too far. You know, it's divisive, and that's what I don't like about it.
You think the flag was too?
Yeah,
you think the flag was too far.
Too far, and the conversation can get divisive because some people say, "Hey, this represents America at its founding," and I don't necessarily think that Colin is against America in general.
So you don't think he'd be opposed to a shoe with the flag with 50 stars on it?
I hope not, because I wouldn't, because I'd sport them all day. But I think it goes back to the core, right? Issue with Colin Kaepernick, he starts this whole debate wearing socks with police depicted as pigs on them, right? You can't do that, because you're coming in with hate. You're coming in with, you know, your voice is now standing for, hey, I'm anti-all cops. And I think that's where the pushback for him began.
Well, I think Nike partnering with Colin Kaepernick and even maybe creating this shoe, they're used to controversy. They want to get into these deep conversations, and they want to be a part of that. I'd like to get your thoughts. I have an idea that this might be a conspiracy theory for Nike to just really kind of stir up some controversy and maybe drive sales. I don't know. They drove sales after they signed Colin.
Fair enough. I don't think that's the situation, but either way, that's not bad form right now. We're in a culture where everyone's just trying to fight for attention. So if you do something like this, which is not as I said, it's not a huge misstep. It's not incredibly offensive. They go, oh, I'm sorry, and we pull it back. So now we're talking about them. They're getting millions of dollars of earned media, and they're in pop culture. So it's not a bad idea. But that said, if they had the Air Force Ones with the Constitution on it, I don't think that would be an issue. I just think there's certain symbols that we white people are in no business to say what offends us or not, because it had nothing to do with us.
I might be clueless, but I've never heard of the 13-star Betsy Ross flag being a symbol of white supremacy or extremist groups.
It's the time period, right?
That's what you're arguing.
Yeah,
but this says a superintendent of a Michigan school district in 2016 apologized after students waved the Betsy Ross flag at a high school game.
But Dagan, remember, the original Star Spangled Banner said no refuge could save a hireling or a slave. We can't forget that, and it's the same time period.
Written several decades after this flag was created.
Even worse.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So you don't think there's any fallout for Nike on this?
Not at all. They supported him, and it only helped the company.
Stocks underperforming Under Armour and Adidas. I wonder if Under Armour has the guts to come up with a shoe, maybe an American flag shoe with 50 stars on it.
And I'll buy it.
Thank you, Ian Wishingrad. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.